I am, like you, fascinated by the mysteries around me, by the strange forms of matter that pass through us all, by the parallel universes that live beside us, by the holes in time and space that beckon us to worlds beyond our wildest imaginings. I find the questions of these mysteries intriguing, and like you, I've got a lot of questions.
Through science, we have found ways to help understand the world around us. The nature of science helps us theorize about ideas that have stumped previous generations, such as, who are we as a species? Where did we come from? Where are we going? And who is right? Evolutionists or creationists? Science gathers information from the world based on our interactions, inferences, and experimentations using our senses and relationships with our surroundings.
Due to literal interpretation of the Bible, the common ideology during the scientific revolution was that the Earth was at the center of the universe. Geocentric theory was a concept that people believed and listened to just to conform with society. The nature of science is what drives the human intellect to search for the truth. As more research was done, the idea of the Earth being at the center became harder and harder to believe. Invariably, this caused scientists like Copernicus and Galileo to observe the heavens closer. During their observation, they replaced the common belief of the Earth being at the center of the universe with the Sun being in the center. This new statement was a drastic step away from past ideals of society and was brought about largely in part by their research of Copernicus. His new theory changed everyone's picture of the universe and took people away from the theological beliefs. As research was done, the new idea of heliocentrism became more and more believable. Later, Sir Isaac Newton used his discovery of the force of gravity to account for the movement of planets based on his laws. Due to the continuous accumulation of evidence, the theological interpretation of celestial movement moved over for the naturalistic interpretation. Through the work of Copernicus and Newton, a new understanding had been brought about to one of the most confusing parts of life at the time. Science leads to a much deeper understanding of nature, due mainly in part to a greater appreciation for the power of human intellect.
Epistemology. How do we know what we know? This basic question has left many of the world's thinkers without answers. Sometimes, we must come up with our own answers to our questions. Invariably, we resort to science and our senses to bring light and understanding to answer our deepest, most personal questions. Food for thought. If the summation of what we know is relative to our personal, general sense of the world around us, how are so many people able to merely accept truth without looking into things themselves? When we were young, children for that matter, we would look at the world and ask why. Why is the sky blue? Why does the sun rise in the morning and set in the evening? Now that we're older, we seem to ask less questions and plainly accept more without question. Where does the change occur at? We believe it lies within the foundations of epistemology. When we have trouble answering the big question, how do we know what we know? We are seemingly more likely to accept someone else's answer.